Hey, if you love the podcast, you know what you're going to love? Hack City, our live stand-up comedy show. We've got great comedians. It's a great time. Plus, your boys, Fumi and Mike, are always there. We're hanging out. Come hang out at the next one. It's Friday, April 8th, 7:30 p.m. at Union Hall in Brooklyn. Tickets available at asiannotasianpod.com or in the episode description. Please check us out. Buy tickets now because we always sell out. See you there.
There's no smooth, easy way to do this or say this.
Yeah.
But Fumi Abe, I'm leaving the podcast.
He's leaving the podcast, man.
Leaving
Fumi's
the podcast,
leaving,
bro.
Whoa. Feels weird. Feels weird, bro.
Dude. Feels weird.
It's like we're getting together to have sex one more time.
Oh my
the breakup.
god, this is crazy, dude. Yeah, let's fuck the regular intro, man.
Yeah,
Fuck
dude.
the
We can do
regular
whatever the
intro.
fuck we want, dude.
There's no rules anymore.
There's no rules.
This is the last hurrah. This is crazy.
Yeah, man.
We do have to. Should we do Patreon shoutouts or fuck it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
It'd be kind of fun. It's fun.
Yeah,
Let's
so
fucking
these are
do
the
it.
last people. See,
Yeah.
you could have had this, people. If you were like, I wanted them to say my name, you could have had this.
coulda
but you were
had
too
it.
fucking late,
You
man.
were too fucking late.
Patreon shoutouts, man. First of all, thank you so much for donating to our thing every week. This means so much. The three new people for Patreon this week, we got Mika Largo, Micalargo.
Mika Largo.
But it's spelled Mica, so I don't know if it's like Japanese Mika or
like
a Micah.
Micah, like The Rock.
Yes.
I feel
Largo is a music venue in Los Angeles.
This person sounds mad creative, but also in like a like sexy OnlyFans, like, but also musician.
Yeah.
She probably has both.
Yeah. This is an OnlyFans Asian.
Yeah, for sure.
Asian.
Definitely
we've
an
had one of those
OnlyFans
before,
Asian.
so we got you.
Oh yeah.
Next we have Julie Yu, Y-U.
Julie
I think
Yu.
that's Chinese. And
Classic.
the last name we'll ever guess on this podcast is Just Jennifer.
That's perfect.
Just Jennifer.
I think in many ways Jennifer is the most Asian name.
Jennifer is the counterpart to like an Edwin. I feel Edwin is like a very Chinese American name.
Yo, good
right?
point. Yeah,
Jennifer is it's not an Irish name. It's not a British name. It's a Chinese American name.
It's a Chinese American name.
name.
Yeah, it's Jennifer Lee. That's like, most people in the world I think are named Jennifer Lee.
Absolutely.
So,
well,
shouts.
thank you so much for donating, man. And again, if you want to get it on this game, go to patreon.com/asian.asianpod. Right? Patreon.com/asian.asianpod.
Yeah, and continue to give us money.
Yeah, where someone will guess.
Someone will guess your ethnicity. That's
Someone will
funny.
guess.
Are you drinking your White Claw?
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
White Claw, baby. We're drinking White Claw. So if
Oh,
you're wondering
that's
what the hell
tasty.
is going on,
Yeah.
if you're wondering what's going on,
Yeah, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on, baby?
Why are you guys sitting so far apart on this couch?
Why are we sitting
is
so far-
going
Oh, and
on?
also, but why are we in hilariously, interestingly, I think a good mood.
I'm in a
I was on it. Can I be real with you? I've been looking forward to this. Like this physical thing, like this going into this room and doing this for like a long time.
Yeah, me too. What do you mean long time? We scheduled it like 2 weeks ago.
I know,
It couldn't have
long.
been longer than that.
I know. Well, no, at the very beginning.
At the beginning,
Yeah,
you're
look,
like,
we're back on a couch.
I know.
Fuck.
We start on the couch. We're going to end this on a couch. Listen, everybody, you're probably freaking out right now if you're a fan. If you're a new listener, don't listen to this episode. If you're a new listener,
start from the beginning.
Start from episode 1, and then
you'll get to hear.
You'll get to hear. You don't deserve to be here right now. Okay, you don't deserve to be
Just
here.
wait.
Lots of changes happening.
Yeah.
With the Asian operation.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know. Where should we start? Where should we fucking start?
Fuck. I don't know.
We want to make this a 3-part episode where we sort of talk about 3 major changes that we're going to implement in our podcast. And this is part 1.
Yes.
And part 1, the reason why I want to do it as in 3 parts is because I wanted to start with some sad news.
Yeah.
And then some hopeful news.
Okay.
And then like a beacon of hope at the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like kind of take up the happiness notch.
Yeah.
As we keep talking.
There you go.
So part 1 of this, there's no smooth, easy way to do this or say this.
Yeah.
But Fumi Abe, I'm leaving the podcast.
He's leaving the podcast,
I'm
man.
leaving
Fumi's
the podcast,
leaving.
bro.
Have we? You know what? I mean, I feel we've mentioned it before, or like, I feel if you have been listening,
if you're close listening, people have been writing.
Yeah, if you were like conspiracy theoristing, okay, Fumi's hair was parted on the right, the hand of God is on the right, therefore God has 3 letters, 1, 2, 3. He's leaving, I think you could figure it out, but we've kind of been hinting at it. But like, you know what? Yeah, it's nice to be able to just get it out there.
And we did a Patreon hang not long ago. And we were planning on saying it, but we were just having like a fun time, and I didn't want to.
That isn't sad. It's like one last happy memory for the family before the divorce papers. I want also everyone to be clear. It's not like we're happy. This is not sad.
We're happy.
This kind of
it's a happy divorce.
Yeah. It always reminds me of when Louise was like, when you meet people who are divorced, you should be congratulating them because you're like doing something you want.
Yeah.
And this is like that. This is like it's I don't even think of it. It's a breakup. It's an evolution.
It's an evolution, and I'm glad it's this way because I didn't think it would ever be this way. But I think when sometimes people split up like creatively, they start out best friends and they leave enemies. That's not just comedies, but
for sure.
If
roommates,
if you have a business together, dude, like that shit happens all the time. So I'm very happy that it's not like that at all. We're just chilling here, drinking a White Claw.
Drinking Claw.
Shout out to Peer Space, the app where we just rented this therapist room.
This is, by the way, can I say this is in like 40 years or 50 years or like they're gonna look back and say this is. 2 comedians drinking White Claw in a Pure Space place recording a podcast is the most 2022 thing you could possibly. This is peak 2022 vibes.
If you could just summarize 2022 in one sentence,
exactly.
That's
TikTok
it.
also. Throw that in there. It is. Man. Yeah, it is. It's been a long ass journey, and it feels right. Do you know? I feel that you and I we've grown a lot, and we know when something you just need to let it go. Yeah. To do something else. Yeah. Yeah. And that's not like you giving up, or it's not like you're whatever. I think it's bad when you hold on for too long, or try to force for something to happen. Yeah. And this feels like okay, this is right.
What did you? So I told you when.
You told me over text.
Like last Hack City before last Hack City.
Yeah.
When was that? Mid February?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Like maybe before that, maybe like January maybe?
No. I told you like when I was coming back to do Brian's
okay, you're right.
podcast.
You're right.
So it was like mid-Feb.
Okay, so
whenever the February whenever the February Hack City was when I told you.
I can't remember what I had said before. Did I ask you like, "Hey, how you doing? You all right?"
No, I think we were like planning. We were like because we were like filming something that day, the jiu-jitsu thing.
Yeah.
And I was like,
oh,
hey,
yes.
we should have like a little summit. We should have
yes. I remember you kept saying we need to have a summit.
Yeah.
Which is, that's like breakup language.
We've had summits before.
We've had summits.
That were not breakups.
Let me tell you something, though. Every time it's a summit, though, it goes badly for me. Because every time there's a summit, it's like, Mike, you need to like dedicate yourself, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was like, oh, summit time. Okay, I got to make sure, like what's going on here. It didn't feel like it was going to be quote unquote bad news or anything like that, because I feel actually we've been working really well together lately.
Yeah, I think so.
Especially after that time when you and I got in a big fight.
Yes.
After that, we kind of like cleared the air, and it just kind of like settled into this thing where like, okay, and pandemic was starting to kind of loosen up. So it felt good, and then I was like, hey, haha, like you gonna break up with me, haha. I think I listened to that.
So were you joking, or was that what? So I guess what I want to know is, did I catch you off guard, or did you kind of know?
When you responded back with like, hey, I think I want to like leave the podcast or whatever, I want to say that I wasn't sad. I don't want to say that I expected it. It wasn't a complete surprise. It wasn't like, holy fuck, you know?
Yeah.
I remember looking at that and just like going, yeah, like, yeah, man.
You were watching the Olympics, by the way.
Yeah, I was. I was like
you're watching
Olympics.
ice skating. You're like, it's really making ice skating emotional for me.
Yeah, it really was. I remember. Okay, so right, you're right. It was
watching Nathan Chen.
I was like, damn, dude. Yeah, because I was watching like this really emotional like recap of like this figure skating. I was like, yo, the drama's here though, yo, NBC, your drama's here. And I like
Yeah.
handed it to Gina, and Gina was the one. She's like, what's happening? Is it Fumi okay? You know, she's very like empathetic. So
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
like
yeah,
trying to figure
yeah.
out. And I was like reassuring. I was like, no, man, he needs to do his thing. You know, the man's got to be a man.
That's funny. Just hand the phone.
I just
handed it to her.
I just handed the phone, and she was like,
Damn.
what? And so I wasn't. I feel like I know you very well.
Yeah.
And I felt that something was going to happen. Maybe, I don't know if it was like you're going to leave or you were feeling like we needed to do a change or something like that. I know that when you have a summit, have a summit, it's like we need to do a reset.
Yeah.
And I know you and I have definitely been talking a lot about, download numbers and whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that, but like, just like what you have to have what are we doing here in a big strategic way?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Where you're like,
yeah.
are we happy with how it's going right now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or not, because it's okay to, whatever. If you don't want to have to necessarily grow or whatever, that's okay. But I think everybody needs to be on the same page.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Are you happy with what this is? Because this is a fuck ton of work.
It's a fuck ton of work. It's a fuck ton of time.
It's a fuck ton of time.
Fuck ton of time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think I told you this. I had written that note a while back.
Yeah.
And I couldn't send it to you.
Yeah.
I think it was for a bunch of reasons. I think obviously like I didn't know how you would react. I didn't know for sure if that's what I wanted, and I knew when I sent it, it would become real.
Yeah.
And then there was also a part of me where like, I think I was afraid to let go because in a weird way, I've let go of like stable jobs in the past.
Yeah, yeah.
And the podcast sort of became like that for me.
Yeah.
It became this like constant, stable thing.
Mm-hmm.
It allows me access to like fans and this just thing that every week that reminds people that I'm out there doing stand-up comedy.
For
right?
sure.
And that's nice. It's nice to have.
Yeah.
And I was afraid to let go of that because if I didn't have that, it's not like I'm releasing videos on my own all the time. And stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
So I had to like really be sure that that's sort of what I wanted.
Mm-hmm. When did you start thinking like maybe I need to?
It definitely wasn't when I first moved to LA. Like I remember like doing episodes with like Nori and JR.
Yeah, those were great.
So fun.
Yeah.
I guess it was like, and like when I came back and did the 12 Pell haircut episode, that was really fun.
That was a good one.
Maybe like let me look at some. Who do we have? I don't think it was. It's not like I had one episode.
There wasn't
where I thought
like
it was
a thing
boring
where you're
and-
like, this sucks. I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I think it was like. I mean, I think obviously we had like a thing happen with the downloads.
Yeah.
We don't have to get into that.
Yeah, sure.
We had something happen, and so I think that woke me up.
Sure. Yeah.
That shook
I knew that.
me up.
Yep.
Because it didn't really matter what those numbers were to me. It was just more like, oh, I guess I was holding on to it because I thought we were bigger than we were, but now that I know exactly how big we are, and it sort of made sense with everything I was seeing, it made this decision easier.
Yeah.
I thought I was letting go of something much bigger than does that make sense? Not like not in an insulting way, but just like
I get it.
When you're seeing certain numbers when you're whatever, you're like, well, I can't let this go because
Right.
this is crazy.
This is
Nobody
crazy.
else has this,
Right.
So I guess that was it. But I mean, I guess I wanted to like I feel like I owed like a detailed explanation to our fans, and
Sure.
I did not want to do like. I don't want to do like a screenshot of a notepad thing.
Oh,
being
yeah,
like,
yeah,
This
yeah.
is why I'm leaving. It's so lame.
Yep.
I don't do that. I'm not good with words. Come fucking watch the podcast if you want to see. I don't do apology notes. I do apology episodes. You have to listen to me talk
Everything's
for
content,
60
baby.
minutes.
60 minutes.
Because I can't summarize it in a stupid one by one square.
No, there's no way you could do it.
know?
Not in a tweet. Not in like whatever.
I think there's like a couple of different reasons why I'm leaving, and I've like talked to you about this already. But like the biggest reason is like I think I am. And I think you are too a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm sort of growing apart from the content of this podcast, the things we talk about, the guests we have, and just the general direction or the general beat that it usually rocks to. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And to be more specific is kind of like, one of our Patreon people sent like a really succinct note. And I really resonated with what this person said. I don't remember her name, but I think it was a woman.
Yeah.
I pasted it. And I think we talk a lot about it here, but like Asian identity, what does it mean to be Asian?
Yeah.
Maybe we could try to like define it a little bit. And I think when I first started in 2018, episode 1, I didn't even know what microaggression was. That's where we started. Yeah. And like this topic really excited me.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I was going through like an Asian evolution. I was like becoming an Asian person, through meeting other Asian creatives, through meeting like authors of our favorite books.
Yeah.
It was incredible to have these conversations because it made me like a more confident Asian American person.
Sure.
And it was like, and that I didn't care about the downloads. I
were
was
interested in just like,
every
the
week,
journey
this
is cool.
One of the best parts of my week is doing this podcast. Because it's like these conversations we're having, it's like crazy. Nobody's talking about this stuff. It's amazing. And I think I felt that way for like 2.5 years. And I think obviously with COVID, everything got fucked up. So that's that. But like around 2021-ish, I think, and obviously like sort of coincides with like when I got my job at Comedy Central and when I got my job at Corden, and I become a little bit busy and like it was stand up too. I think at a certain point I felt like every time I have a guest, we were just kind of talking about the same thing. There's so many times when a guest brings something up and he or she feels like they're bringing heat, and I'm like, I've already heard this conversation. Not that that's bad, but it's like I've already heard this take. Because we're talking to the best fucking people. We're talking to the Minjin Lees. We're talking to Roy Wood Jr. We're talking to like fucking cultural leaders, right? So then it just became like a little redundant for me. And then when it gets redundant, I get bored. And when I get bored, I don't look forward to it as much. And I know how much our fans love this pod. And I began to feel like a little guilty for not giving it
not bringing it
100%, know. And I think like, so the person on Patreon said, and I'm paraphrasing, she wrote something like, this was sort of like our podcast was like an awakening podcast. And it's really great if you're an Asian person or person of color who is in that sweet spot of where I was when I was 28, where it's like you thought you knew, but you didn't really, investigate your Asianness or your ethnicity and what you mean to America in detail. You didn't really do that yet, you know? And so it's really, if you catch someone in that state, I think this podcast, especially if you start from episode 1, it's gonna resonate with you hard.
It's like perfect for that.
It's gonna rock your world. But I think if you're past that phase, maybe you start to have the same reaction I had, where you go, I've already thought about this. And not to say we don't have fresh takes, but like I think that's why we have like a steady stream of new fans input, but we also have a steady fan of output. I think a lot of people stop listening. And I don't think it's because it's bad. I just think maybe we're like, I don't know. It's like, what's something that like a 14-year-old boy going through puberty would need? We're like a thing that you need during this during a specific
time. And then after that, you're sort of like, okay,
move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And I began to see the podcast like that, the content like that. And then I felt like, oh, well, then I don't know what I'm doing here. If that sort of makes sense.
No, that 100% makes sense. I think I've told you this before is, as much as we want to be goofball, problematic comedians, deep down we're artists. And artists need to be like stimulated by the question they're trying to answer. Right. The thing, and they need to be stimulated by like the art form. They need to be like doing things that they think is cool, right? And I feel if you are not engaged with the subject, I know you, I know how you are, and I know, I think the reason why you and I work really well together is because we come up, we go when we have an idea, we both get really excited about it. Fuck yeah, let's do this. Get some wigs. We'll buy some wigs on Amazon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know that as soon as it's like, oh, this joke's been done, then we're like, whatever. And the name of our stand-up show is called Hack City. Because we call each other hacks sometimes if we come up with some like stupid bullshit angle. And I totally hear you that. And I feel with I hear you. I don't agree with a lot of some of the stuff you said, but I hear you for sure. And I think you have a great point. With a lot of Asian things, there can be the same like sort of themes come up, and I think too the conversations can be very similar, because you're right, like you get like the most successful chef and the most successful, you know, comedian, and you ask them what their childhood was like. They're going to hit certain beats, again and again. You know what I'm saying? And I always thought that, and I think our listeners will agree, we're strongest when we have no guest. It's just us. And I sometimes wish that we had just been like, fuck it, we just us forever. You know what I'm saying? Like just the boys, you know? And because I think as soon as you start getting into Asian-y things, like whatever you want to call that, you're gonna need to address some of the things that are happening, whatever, you know? And I can see where creatively it's a challenge to do that. Just because it's such a, you know, it's like, let's talk about racism, you know, like that's such it's such a big thing, you know, and like it could be funny, but it takes a lot of, you know, whatever. It can lead to very stale things quickly. It can lead to really interesting things, but it could also lead to really stale things.
And I think like, I don't know what happened. I guess after a while, I stopped sort of looking forward to our guests, even if they were famous, if that makes sense. I didn't, not that I don't like them, and sometimes I go in with like a bad attitude and come up with like, oh, that was pretty good. But I just, you know, I was just like, I don't want to touch this person.
There's definitely,
you know what I mean? Like, does that make sense?
No,
I was like, I
100%
just talk
get
about
it.
this with you. Like, it's just,
I 100% feel that, and you know, no shade to any of the guests we've had on recently. But it is tricky, because I think if you don't know a celebrity, you end up having to talk about the same things. And trying to connect with them. It's only like after like a lot of prodding that you find out that they're really into some really niche anime or something like that. And then like you can have like a fun conversation. But at least for a while, you gotta like, you know, tell me about your high school. Did you major in college? You know, like, and it'll be like whatever. I also think too, the internet in general, and I think you've sort of, I remember you expressed to me that, you know, like sometimes you would feel like the content that is out on social media, like in Asian content, is like very like, I don't know what you would how would you describe it, but like cheesy. You know what I'm saying? I you know, another thing that sort of propelled me to this moment is somebody was like, oh, you're the host of Asian on Asian podcast? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, oh yeah, you guys are like the podcast version of Subtle Asian Traits. They said to me, and I was like, if that's what we are giving off, then I don't want to put my name on it. And like, I know we have some people like sending memes when we post it, and like some of it's funny, but like some of the shit we've been posting, and it's like, I texted you once. I was like, I don't want my name on that thing. You know, it's like it's like a highway meme. It's like, get hit by your mom or go to Kumon. It's like, dude, I don't want to fucking. That's not the kind of comedy I do. And like, part of it comes from like a little bit of laziness on my part, because I guess I could fucking make memes, but I don't want to. You know, so I get it that somebody did it. You know, it's nice that we have sort of a social media person who like helps us with that. And yes, it is partly my fault, because I could have been like, don't post that. Let's post this instead. You know, but like, like everything. You know, I always try to think of like what Ex Mayo says, and she was like, if your name is on it, then it better be fucking good. You know, and I think it was good for a while. Like for a while, I was just like, I'm so proud of this. Like, every episode, I'm like, banger. This is banger. You fucking check this out, because like it's gonna blow your fucking mind, bro. Like, you know, and I think recently, as we try to expand on social media and stuff like that, I'm just like what is this like thing we're doing here on the social media? It's like, and my name is on there, and I'm like embarrassed, and I don't ever want to feel embarrassed about something that has my name and my fucking face on it, you know? Do you ever feel like also that, you know, because like that shit can do real well, you know?
It can, but but that's another thing another point I wanted to make is, do you remember last time we did Hack City? We played this game called like Asian Not Asian. And we asked somebody to fill it out, and she was like, some Asian girl was like, oh, it's racist. I can't do this. I feel, I don't know where she came from. I don't think she was a podcast listener, because our podcast listener wouldn't say that. But I think like when you go based on what does well, because it's easier, you attract the wrong kind of fans. And when you attract the wrong kind of fans, then we start having conversations like, what did they want? What did they like?
Instead of
like, I think this is a really funny thing I just thought of. Can we do this?
Yeah.
I know I'm being like an artsy fartsy person, and I understand numbers matter, but you look at, for example, like Dumbfounded has like a Instagram page for his podcast, and like I don't necessarily think every clip of his is like shareable.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because the people who follow him like him. So his videos actually do really well among his fan base.
Yeah.
And I think we got caught up in like, how do we get more people?
Yeah.
And so we're doing top 5 Asian whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Like the stuff you make I think is really funny, but like some of the memes and shit, I don't know. It's just like it really like put a bad taste in my mouth.
It's not the kind of stuff you want to make.
Not me. I don't know if that's what you want to make, but not me. I think, and also like when I see a TikTok video or whatever, even when it's executed well, like when you do it, even when it's executed well, when it's something that could be shared on subtle Asian traits, because of my background,
yeah.
Every time I see a tweet or an Asian video, all I see is you don't belong. Yeah, because I don't relate to this at all. And I don't like that.
I'm so glad that you came on my podcast to talk about that, because it's all about fitting. Yeah, no, I get it.
But that's just me. I know that's not what the creator intended, and I'm not putting that pressure on anybody. Do you? But that's just how I feel. I feel you, and I just have to be true to my feelings, because I think this can exist, but I think I can also exist and do something else. And we can just respect each other's spaces, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think it's hard. I think that's just been my entire life, and that will be my life, because I just didn't have parents who wanted me a doctor. I'm sorry. That makes sense. That's never gonna be relatable to me, you know. And so I have to stay true and stay away from that kind of shit. You know? Yeah. So that was like, I think also that like that was pretty recent, that all the social media stuff, and that sort of fueled sort of my like, I don't know, it kind of propelled me to like wanting to get out of this operation. Yeah.
I feel like it's like, kind of going back to the whole discussion with numbers, and like the central question you and I have always been trying to do is, how do we do something that's cool, but like, I feel like deep down the other question is, how do we get famous, right? And it's, I think, has been frustrating for you and for me, of course, because you like the algorithm controls so much shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There's so many times when like stuff that you and I will say and we put it out and like it's like a cool take. It's like a cool like thing. Yeah. We have like a funny thing that happens or whatever, and we have a cool vibe, and it's like does okay. Yeah. Or sometimes people get really mad at it. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is like the internet doesn't actually like
hot takes.
Hard information.
Yeah. The internet, it's like the lowest
hanging fruit, like lowest common denominator. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like the internet is really like that. Yeah. Not everyone, and some people can do it really well. I always think like Youngmi does this really cool thing where she like starts off like that, but it like always takes a left really fast. Right. And she like puts together she just executes really well. But like it is, she's the exception that proves the rule, because like most of the time stuff that's on like some Asian Instagram is like 5 things you can do with chopsticks. Yeah. Which is a great TikTok I'm going to make one day.
And but they're all like serious. Yeah. Like you can eat rice with it. It's not like, because if you and I did that, we'd be like, put it on your butt. But like they're like, you can eat rice with it. You can put it in your, like they're like serious answers, and I'm like, so you just listing like the utility of a chopstick? People are like, yeah, dude, that's your number 3.
It is, and it is. It can be frustrating I'm whatever. We're all like in the game of social media, but like I get it, and I think I hope that the listeners who are hearing this, like Fumi and I are not arguing. No. And because I feel, there can be. I actually really like that that girl thought that the game was racist. I thought that was really cool. So like, I think that's really funny. But I understand why. I'm like okay with doing some stuff like that. Although it can be a drag because you're just like, But I hear what's happening, and I understand that like, you again have to be energized by what you make. Because it will if we're sort of lucky, it will outlive us, and the last thing you want, like in 29 1000 AD is like a stupid. Look at this Fumi Abe meme that survived. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, you want like your real take to survive, your real like voice or whatever.
I just want
it
to
is.
be able to defend everything I put out there,
Like,
even if
this
it's
is-
not good or doesn't do well. It doesn't matter to me, you know.
No.
And I think
We all
Yeah.
know the feeling of when you put out something and you're like, this is fire. I love this.
yeah, there's
This
so
is
many
great.
clips that I thought were fine that did okay, and then like some stupid shit goes viral. Because I don't know, it's just like, but I think you know, you bring up Young Me, but like I think she went viral, but also like because people like her videos, so her fans know exactly what to
Yes.
expect.
No,
I
absolutely.
think with us, we just did a little bit of like, at least we on social media,
Yep.
we did a little bit of pandering, and I think that invites the wrong people. And then so when we put like a real take, people go, what is this? What happened to the Kumon memes? Now you're talking about
Yeah.
how Aquafina's accent is not bad or it's questionable. Like,
Yeah,
of course
yeah,
it's
yeah.
bad because, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's like, you got the wrong people to come to your show. So now they're mad. It's like, I shouldn't even invited you in the first place.
Yeah.
That was my fault.
That was my fault.
You know? And so that's sort of like, yeah, that was like a sort of a big part of it.
I
Content-wise.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I 100% hear you.
Yeah.
It's and you look at you know, like the Asian, like podcasts that have Asian people who are leading it, like Tiger Belly. Tiger Belly is not like an Asian show.
No.
It is
We talk about Asian stuff a lot.
Yeah, they
but,
do.
But it's not, yeah.
It's a fucking, what's his name show? You know, it's
Bobby
about
Lee's show,
fucking
yeah.
Bobby Lee and his craziness. You know, Dumbfounded too. It's like, yeah, he like kind of talks about it, but like it's really fucking Dumbfounded, the Korean rapper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And
yeah,
his
yeah,
craziness and his crew. So I get it. I mean, I've always thought if we could like go back in time, you know what I'm saying, baby? Just like, hey, let's forget about it. Just you can blame it all on me. And it would just be you and me. And just like whatever craziness we do, we'll just have to do this craziness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that'll just be how it is forever. Because you know, I get it. Like the, whatever you want to call it, cloud chasing, the trying to find that lowest common denominator. It just like, it leads to a weird place.
It does.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Creatively, it does, you know?
Yeah.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Listen, relationships take work. A lot of us will drop anything to go help someone who we care about. We'll go out of our way to treat other people well, but how often do we give ourselves the same treatment? Listen, I try to give myself the treatment like the king I am, okay? I got a life coach. I've been to therapy. I do a lot of meditation. I do self-care because I know I'm worth it, all right? You are your greatest asset, so invest in yourself. BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Give it a try and see why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp online therapy. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Asian Not Asian listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Asian. That's BetterHelp.com/Asian.
Let's talk about the gift that keeps on giving. Hello Tushy Bidet. It cleans your butt way better than wiping, cuts your toilet paper use down by 80%, saves trees, and all the thousands of gallons of water used to convert them into toilet paper. And it comes with a book full of poop jokes. My butt is in love. Guys, here at Asian Not Asian, we love Tushy. Mike and I both use it. And if you're wondering, guys, why are you guys always in sync? Why are you guys, the banter is amazing. You guys are so freaking funny. What is your secret? Well, it's because we have clean butts. That is our secret. The Hello Tushy Bidet washes your bum with fresh water for a way better clean than toilet paper. Make the restroom your best room with the complete Tushy system, including the Tushy Bidet attachment ottoman. It's got an ottoman, oh my god. Toilet brush and Tushy stand and tissues. Join the millions of happy Hello Tushy customers right now who take care of their Yule logs the dignified way. Give the gift of a clean bum to yourself and your loved ones this holiday season and get 10% off plus free shipping right now at hellotushy.com/ANA. That's hellotushy.com/ANA for 10% off and free shipping. Brah!
Yo.
Brah.
What up? What up?
How many subscriptions do you think you have? You pay for right now,
Including the
Like, I'm
ones
talking
that
like Netflix.
including the ones my wife doesn't know about, like 20.
Yes,
Easily.
dude. I mean, and how many do you think you're actively using?
Dude, like 3, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. So you're literally wasting like hundreds and hundreds of dollars every month, money that you could be contributing to the Patreon. If I'm being completely honest, with you.
It's
You could
true,
contribute
but
to
you
your
know
own
what it
Patreon.
is that a lot of times these subscription services make it like super freaking hard in order to cancel it because it's like buried in something, or you got to do some weird thing with like 2 different phones to confirm some ish like that. It's crazy, man. All right?
Absolutely. And what we got to do is we got to fight back against scammy subscriptions with Truebill.
Truebill is the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, want, or simply forgot about.
On average, people save up to $720 a year with Truebill.
Because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel, Truebill makes it incredibly simple. Just link your accounts and Truebill will cancel your unwanted subscriptions in one tap.
And your Truebill concierge, is there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions so you don't have to, and maybe other things if you're nice to him or her. Ooh.
No, it's very fancy. Yeah, man, I use Truebill. I canceled like a whole bunch of stuff. It saves me like $30. It saved me like $30 a month. I'm going to save like over like $300 this year alone, man. It's crazy.
That's amazing. What are you going to do with that money, you think?
I'm probably going to, just buy socks.
Nice. Truebill has over 2 million users and helped save them over $100 million.
Ooh-wee. Okay, don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at Truebill.com/Asian. Go right now, Truebill.com/Asian. It can save you thousands a year. Truebill.com/Asian. You said this when we were talking about it. Like, you were like, when we first started this, we were 2 open micers on a couch, and now we're still on a couch, but
but we paid for this couch.
We paid for this couch. We really did. That's actually the point.
And it wasn't even a big deal. We're like,
really,
put it on the car.
Just do it. I don't give a fuck. And we like had to start a fucking company. We had to obviously.
I learned a lot about accounting through this. I learned a lot about accounting.
You learned a lot about accounting. I think the big thing is like you are. You're not like a big shot, but like you're a professional comedian now, in every sense of the word. Yeah. You have your own fans. You're just like a different person. And so I think that's the thing. It's like you grow up. There's so many, podcasts out there where it's like, you got to like glow up and do all these things. You really did. You know what I'm saying? And that means like necessarily that you can't just do the same thing and just like, I'm saying, like, even if you were to do this podcast, but you couldn't be the same. You know what I'm saying? You just have to fucking refresh it in some way.
Yeah. And I think like, I guess this is the second point I wanted to make about like, yes, I outgrew the content, but I also think I just like grew as a professional. Yeah. And I think, you know me, I hate phoning things in. 100%. I hate it. It goes against everything in my body. And when I started doing that, I was like, this is not for me anymore. Yeah. Because again, going back to the ex Mayo quote, like I'm putting my name on it. Yeah. And I'm not trying my best.
And you owe it to everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And, like we got Patreons who like care a lot and stuff like that. And so, and all the people who are so nice who like come out to our shows and all this stuff, like we always, we owe it to yourself mainly, but you owe it to them too. It's like they deserve better than to just have like somebody who doesn't want to do it.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think this is something that I always did in like high school and in college on like school projects and stuff. But like, and I did this to myself on this podcast and other creative projects I've worked on with other people. And this is just like, I don't know what it is. I maybe it's just the way I grew up or like the way my brain worked in my 20s. But like, I always did this thing where like, if somebody wasn't into something as much as I was into it, I'd be like, oh, that's okay. Like, I'll do the work you don't want to do. Yeah. Yeah. And I always do that. And I think in my 20s, I just had time and energy. Yeah. Yeah. And I was happy to do so. This wasn't like a resentment thing. I was happy to do it. Yeah. 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 And I think recently I find that I don't have the time or energy to do it.
Of course not.
And then it's like, yeah. And I think I just changed. I mean, I don't want to be that guy anymore.
Right, who's just like going to throw hours at something, you know?
Yeah, I think I want to be like more efficient and also just like, well, if you don't want to do it, then I'll find somebody else. Kind of, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need I don't want to make a scenario where like I push it on other people that I will do extra work, and then when I'm really busy, I resent them. But I set up those rules, so it's like my fault. You know what I mean? So like, from like other projects I work on, professionally, like whether it's like selling a show or whatever it is, I want to make sure I put my foot down for myself to be like, these are the rules. Yeah. This is what I do, and you do from that on. You know what I mean? And I never used to do that, and I didn't really realize it until like recently. And so that's something that I want to like sort of change. And I only mention this because you wrote this thing in here about the barnacle.
Oh yeah,
And that was like a joke on this podcast. You're like a barnacle, my whale. And I used to think that was funny, but I guess recently it's just been like, well, I don't want a barnacle on me anymore. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not like shitting on you. Just more like, but I did that a lot in different situations. It wasn't just this podcast. It was like my personal life.
Yeah.
My other jobs. I always did that.
Yeah.
I was always that guy.
Absolutely.
And I just don't want to be that guy anymore.
Yeah, that's really what made this work. Was you did most of the work. I mean, I think I want to ask you too. I feel like, do you feel like creatively because I think a lot of times creatively we're different, and that can be a good thing.
Yeah.
But do you feel like creatively we were just kind of like going, I don't know,
different directions?
I guess.
You know, I never really thought that until like kind of recently. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, but I think it's because I've been watching your TikToks.
Oh yeah, no,
I'm watching your TikToks.
Yeah.
And I'm not judging. They're funny. They're hilarious. But I think when I'm watching them, I go back to that sentiment I described earlier, where it's like, oh, like, I don't know if this is true. You can answer for me if you want to, but I go, oh, like, maybe deep down, like, this is the kind of shit that Mike wants to put out there.
Yeah.
And if so, then I am sort of further away from him than I thought.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel
that's like an honest sentiment I had.
No, that's absolutely that's fine. And I think I think it's less that I want to put out essentially a subtle Asian meme or whatever.
Yeah.
And more that, I believe that material could be good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, actually today I was doing a stupid TikTok and I was like,
the short one? That was funny.
Oh, no, not even that one. I was doing one about, I was just making one up, and I was like, it was supposed to be like, what do Asian people and Latinx people have in common, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, like Netflix did, like the Netflix Asian channel did one on Instagram, and it like got me thinking of it, and like I came up with a couple that were funny, but there were a couple that were like not like it worked, but it wasn't perfect, and I remember doing it, and I was like, this is kind of boring. So I feel that I still believe, even though I think that there is a lot of bullshit and crap that's out there, that eventually you get to the stuff that's good. But you gotta go through like the field of like horrible bullshit first.
And I think like you're definitely onto something, because yours is very different from the other ones. Because the other ones, again, will just, you'll do like a top 5 Asian flag, but you're like roasting them, and the other person will just straight up name 5 flags. There's like, I don't know what the ranking is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But to your point, I feel like there is promise there, and I'm like intrigued by it. But if you feel that this doesn't intrigue me for whatever reason, then there's no reason for you to go through like the fucking forest to get to the, what I'm saying? I have faith that there will be something on the other side of the forest. But if you feel like, I mean, there could be nothing on the other side of the forest. There could just be more memes.
That's it, right?
That's probably what it is. But yeah, exactly. And this just could be how it is. And so, we had Margaret Cho on the other week, and she fucking blew my fucking head off with her whole thing about
the essential question,
the essential statement. So I was like trying to think about it, and I was like looking at all the stuff that I have, and like I don't really have heads or tails of it yet. I haven't like really figured it out, but I again think that there's something pulling me in this direction, and I do think
so funny.
There's
something pulling me towards the top 5 Asian flags.
Top 5 Asian flags, bro. I feel that here's the thing. I started doing this whole process to be a stand-up comedian because I was like, I can be funny. And I want to learn all the tools that the best comedians in the world have. Roasting, whatever the fuck it is, like, being able to say certain bits or whatever the fuck it is, so that I have those things and I can like bring it back to the thing I really want to talk about. Because I feel those things are worth talking about. There's just nobody who does it good, because nobody's been trained to do it really good.
Right.
I went to the fucking culinary art school in Paris. So that I can come back and fucking revamp the banh mi sandwich.
Yeah.
And there might be some weird shit at first, but I believe that that's what it is. And to kind of like go with the whole barnacle thing, this whole process has been really interesting for me. When you left LA, I was like so fucking anxious because I was like, the barnacle doesn't have his whale anymore. And I was just like floating around. And I just, I've had to do more stuff, and it's been cool. Now I'm a barnacle, and I have also a small fin,
Yeah.
And I'm one of the most dangerous things now. I'm starting to believe in myself because I'm like, I'm funny.
Well, you can do it. You can do all these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you're like selling yourself short by calling yourself a barnacle. Like
Nah, I mean, that was kind of a joke, but
I know you're talking about, but I guess I always like knew you could. I didn't like need to. You could do it on your own if you had to, as I could do it on my own if I had to.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is that I think for a long time I couldn't do it on my own. There was a long time, honest to God, where, and I saw your note in here that like you were not like 100% sure when we started this podcast that I would quit first.
Yes, yes, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah,
and here's the thing: is that there was a time before, even very recently, before you left for LA, that if you stopped doing it, we would just completely stop. We would just like, it would just like collapse.
I guess this is before Fawn and Julianne.
I mean, like whatever. It's just like, honestly, it was just because I just wasn't sure about my own ability to do stuff. I remember earlier, maybe last year, I did that one comedy show.
Yeah.
Where it was like
Asian American Studies 3000.
Asian American Studies 3000. And that could have been real Asian meme-y, but it was like real weird. It was great. But I remember doing it, and I booked all the the panelists for the show, and I also got a co-host. I got Woody, and I was sitting there and I was doing the whole thing, and like it was a great show. And then afterwards, Gina came up to me and she's like, everybody was here to see you, right? And I was like, oh yeah, huh? I should have. That's right. Like but I was like hiding behind all of these other comedians. I was like, I can't do it on my own. I have to have Woody here. I have to have all these other people. And I've had to do Hack City a bunch of times with like, another co-host. And sometimes I let the co-host do their thing, whatever, it's fine. But I'm like, I gotta fucking do this. You know what I'm saying? Like people have come to see me and I have to step up. So it really is like, it not even like an operational thing. It was just like a mentality thing. Yeah. Because for a long time, I was like, why would anyone care to see me? So that was like my.
So you like
question.
learned that through this.
I learned about like
there's some growth, man.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? and like I just gotta like
that's why I think at Hack City, like, you and I should be doing like 15, 20 up top if you really want to fucking want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we should just be there because that's ultimately. I mean, the one in LA sold out before I even promoted it.
Right.
They only came to see me.
Yes.
Only.
Yeah,
they didn't even know
exactly.
what the lineup was. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, that's one thing I noticed about like when I would do other podcasts that are popular have stand-up shows. Like I did Funny Mom, which is run by Cumtown.
Oh, yeah.
And like they straight up do 30 minutes up top.
That's crazy.
Then they only book 3 comedians.
Yeah.
So then like 2 comedians go up. Then they go up again.
Yeah.
Do like another 30.
Yeah.
And like another comedian does 10.
Yeah.
And then they go back again, do another 20, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because they just want to see them talk.
Right.
And they're fucking hilarious. But like, I don't know, they're just kind of talking like we are.
Yeah, they're just hanging.
But like they know that's what their fans want. And it's easier for them because they don't have to book like 2 or 3 comedians.
Right. Yeah.
So the comedians is really just honestly, they book the comedians so they can go have a drink real quick. Like it's like they book us so they can go to the bathroom and text or like just a little break.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, oh wow, like they get it. They get that
they
could
understand.
do this without me. Like they don't need
to have
comedians.
any of that shit.
Yeah.
That is so fucking interesting. I mean, it is not a joke that this is very recently like a thing where I am, I'm a comedian. I'm like I remember I watched you do Colbert, and when I was in the audience, I was like, man, I gotta get ready to do like something like this.
Yeah.
And in that time, I've like opened for Ronnie a bunch.
Yeah,
I'm at the stand.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I could totally do that. You know what I'm saying? For sure, 100%.
Yeah.
Whenever I see all these shows, I'm like, 100% I can do all this. This is it's a weird thing now where I feel like I got a handle on it, but now what else can I do? And I think if for you, this is the same thing. You accomplished all the goals of a comedian in a New York environment. Yeah. Right? All the things that we wanted to do when we were fucking at
Bunga's Den.
Bunga's fucking Den.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I want to write for late night. I want to have a thing. I want to have fans. I want to have whatever. You want to have a podcast. So whatever. All those, we want to get a late night set. That's a big one.
Yeah.
If you just did your JFL thing, JFL is beneath you. I'm going to say it. JFL is beneath you.
Yeah.
So like, you've accomplished all those things, and that is growth, and that is like, it's an interesting thing because I feel so often podcasts either start like, how do you grow, or what do you do after you've grown? But like, this is starting from 0 to I'm done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the big question is like, what do you do after that? And I think the answer is, you just got to do something else.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Change is good.
Change is good.
Change is good.
Change is very good.
Yeah, man.
I do have to say this one thing.
Yeah.
And it's not a negative thing, but I do just have to say it to you because I owe it to you.
Yes.
I was annoyed.
Yeah.
When we talked about potentially changing the podcast.
Yeah.
To like a finance podcast. And then we never had a conversation that you didn't want to do that anymore.
And then just
it
like
was
went
kind
away.
of assumed. Yeah, it kind of went away. I had obviously like I knew what was happening, but I felt like after 4 years, like I was owed that conversation. If that makes sense. I don't even know if you perceived it like that.
No.
I don't know if you didn't. I don't know what was going through your mind.
No, I mean, really, I was just too busy.
Yeah.
I was just too busy.
I mean, I didn't take it personally.
And here's the thing: is that actually, I don't want to say that it didn't want to do it or not.
No,
I guess
it wasn't even about. It was just kind of like the next time we talked was with Fawn, and it was like, oh, the plan is going that you're already doing this. You're doing the Asian Not Asian podcast. You're continuing this podcast, right?
Yeah.
Which is like what I first suggested.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was sort of like what happened there was sort of like maybe how I felt towards the second half of the podcast, where like we get together, we'd come with like a really cool idea, and we'd get really excited about it.
Yeah.
And neither of us would do anything about it.
Yeah.
And like the idea would die. And I felt like that was like, this is exactly how it would end. Because this is the way it's always been.
Yeah.
You know? And it's not, it's cause I didn't push it on you, and you didn't push it on me either. It's like, it's not like it's your fault or my fault. Neither of us said anything, and I was just like, oh, there's like a little bit of, I don't know if poetic justice is the word, but it's just kind of like, this makes sense. This is kind of why it's ending a little bit,
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know. I had to say that to you.
Yeah, I get it. I feel it's like that was one of those things where, it's just for background for everybody. We were like thinking about doing a personal finance podcast.
Yeah.
This was actually an idea we had a long time ago.
Yes.
And we had some like interesting things, and now I think if we wanted to do it, we could like put it all together. But this is like one of those scenes in the movie where the couple who's been together a long time gives it one more shot. And they have to go, no, just walk away. Because I was thinking about it, and I was like, there's no way we could do it. I mean, we'd have to like commit so fucking hard, because like it's just
right.
We have to do a Zoom and all this stuff.
Well,
I should have just told you. But at the same time, I also think, and this is not a good answer for why I didn't do it, but I guess I didn't want to say it.
No, for sure.
You know
absolutely.
what I'm saying?
Just like
I just didn't want to be like, hey, I don't think I could do this.
No, absolutely.
You
and
know,
I think
actually somebody has asked me to do this other thing, and I told them, I was like, I'm gonna have a baby soon.
Yeah.
I just got to chill, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's something.
No, I think it's a great idea, but no, you're right. It would have been a lot of work.
Yeah.
But I guess I wasn't. Look, it was funny, and I'm always down to do stuff with you. But I guess I was like, I am not gonna do the barnacle thing again. I'm not gonna do this unless I know you're in with me.
100%.
And then you weren't, so I was like, then I'm not either.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I still think it's a funny idea.
It's a funny idea.
Maybe it's something we just pitch, and it'd be like another thing.
This is one of those things, I think, where like in 5 years I'm in LA, and we see each other at a show, and I'm like, we should do that fucking podcast.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We'll feel right.
Side note, if you ever want to do like less work, so Sydney Washington and Marie Falston, they have a podcast called Unofficial Expert.
Oh yes,
they stopped it.
Oh,
they sold a podcast.
Oh shit.
To Spotify.
No fuck.
Called like, I forget what it's called, but it's about the 2000s.
Oh shit.
So they just talk 2000s Von Dutch Huts.
Oh, that's sick. All that's awesome.
Same kind of vibe, because they've got that chemistry.
Yeah,
we do.
They got great chemistry.
But it's fucking. We dealt with Spotify once. You know how much they were gonna offer us, and we were fucking nobodies.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a separate conversation. It's like, to start from scratch is a completely different thing. Than to be like, hey, do you want to put a deck together and pitch this? That's a different conversation.
To put it all together and do all that shit, because now we know exactly what we would need to do in order for that to happen, or we would have to hire a bunch of people to help us do it. I think the thing, and this, is kind of a fun thing to end the podcast, this episode on, maybe, is The real value is our chemistry.
Right.
When, I'm an evolving barnacle. Okay,
Yeah.
I've got a couple fins.
Yeah, a couple fins.
You're a whale breaching out of the water.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: bring the whale and the barnacle together again, and it's like fucking Super Saiyan 3. I think that anytime we do Hack City and we open, our intro little thing is like the best thing anyone's ever seen as far as like a duo host situation goes.
Yes.
And like even now, like put us together as a as a duo.
Yeah, we can do anything.
We can do anything. We really can talk about anything.
Yeah.
We don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
If you want to see that, then that's what you're really buying. And I think if we're gonna work together again.
Yeah.
But the next time, it won't be like, hey, we have this fun idea to do this thing. We're like fucking over that shit.
Yeah.
You come to us with the fun idea, and we will do it using our special chemistry power.
Yeah.
So that's what it is, baby.
That's what it is. So this is part 1 of this long ass episode. Part 2 will be about the future of Asian Not Asian. It is still happening. It is still happening. Mike is going to keep doing it, and we're going to hear more about what that's going to be like next week. So tune in.
Fumi will still be here for that one.
I'm going to be here for the next 2 episodes because we're just recording a long-ass one right now. So you'll still hear my voice for 2 more weeks. Come get this, Daddy. We'll see you next week. Bye.